It's showtime.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Shinhan Tank Pro League. I am your host, and joining me, as you can see in the top corner, is a very weirdly shaped Rapid at the moment where everything is kind of buggy. But I'll fix that.
What are you trying to say about the shape of my face, Kicks?
It's not the shape of your face, it's fine. It's Discord is all screwy. I need to recapture the window. But either way, it is a Friday night for both of us, or I guess Saturday morning for you.
That is true, yes. It is Saturday morning. The GSL finals are in about 15 hours, so I'll be heading to that. But first and foremost, we've got some STPL going on tonight. Of course, it is a momentous occasion. First off, of course, we have, I'm hoping that my face is decently captured, but just in case it's not, pretend like I'm being serious here. So first off, we have ReV versus the 9thTeam. Now, of course, this is a parody of the 8thTeam, which of course was a Kespa team way back in the day. But this is, I think, what is the combination of the TL staff and foreign Brood War, so that they can field the team together. So that should have some recognizable faces. And speaking of recognizable faces, the triumphant return of, is it Templars of Twilight? No, it is Micromedia, Artosis' clan from way back in the day. They're coming back and should have some familiar faces playing as well. So it's going to be an exciting night of Brood War.
It should be that indeed. Now we're starting off with ninth even. That's going to be hard to say. They are Team 9 technically, but 9thTeam sounds cooler. I don't know if you agree with that.
Right. Well, the jerseys, the actual name of the team was 8thTeam.
Yeah.
So anytime you would say the name, it would be 8thTeam. So it's Team 9th, but I think we're going to call it
9thTeam.
Or 9thTeam or something along those lines.
Hopefully we won't have to say it too much, but we'll be saying the player names mostly, so that'll save us a little bit of hassle. But we are going to be starting off with a best of 5 between them, and it should be a good best of 5. There are some really evenly matched players, I think, across both the teams, so this should be quite exciting as we move into our first game. So let's move on over to the overlay quickly and have a look. And as you can see, I'm glowing green purely because of my green screen. But let's move on over to the overlay. Let's have a look at their stats from last round, and let's see how they're going to do this time as we move on over to our first screen of today.
I heard you mentioning a green screen. I was like, did you just green screen your room behind you so that it's always neat every time you broadcast?
No. Basically, my overlay works by I couldn't get transparent Java windows, so I made the Java windows green, and then just cut the green out.
So it's like, it's chroma keyed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, more importantly, here's a look at Clan Revolution, or ReV, and you can see not only do they have one of the best logos in the STPL, but they also have a pretty good lineup here tonight. Now, of course, because it is the first time, at least, that I'm seeing them, their stats have been reset, but it's a brand new season. We'll see if they can eclipse their 2-4 record from last season.
Yeah, 9thTeam were, as you said before, a mix between Foreign Brood War and Team Liquid Staff. Now, both of them did quite respectively in round 1. What I really should do is actually port the stats over. But all the player stats have been ported over and everything for all of them, so it should be fine. And would you like to quickly have a look at, would you like to quickly introduce the maps that we will be seeing today?
As soon as I see them, I will introduce them. So it looks like today's maps are Troy, Triathlon, New Sniper Ridge, Hitchhiker, and Neo Electric Circuit as our ace match, if we manage to get there.
That is indeed correct, and the players starting us off here, the players in this first series, as far as we know, we do not know the ace players. It's going to be a ZVP between Skabb and Just, PVZ between Incomplete and Shava, a PvP between Indy and V1, and a PVZ between Shimmer and Hirmu. So this should be pretty cool. There's no Terrans in either team apparently, so we're going to see a lot of PVZ, one PvP as well. So it's a shame Cadenzi couldn't be here, but she's busy becoming a Korean celebrity, so unfortunately she had to go to sleep. Yeah, hopefully we'll do a pretty good job of it. And let's have a look at who our first players are going to be.
Okay, so we're going to be starting off with, I believe, Skabb versus Just, a ZVP on Troy. And, you know, Troy is one of those, what I like to call, kicks maps, because it is not a map that we've seen in pretty much any other tour. The last time I saw Troy played, I believe it was in the AJ League, so it's been a while.
That wasn't that long ago, to be fair. Like,
It was like 6 months ago, okay?
Really? It can't have been that long ago. Like, I don't want to believe
AJ
it.
League was actually a while ago, yeah.
Oh man, that's worrying. The passage of time is too hard to understand, Rapid. It's too hard. But Just, one of 9thTeam's best players, I would say. He did pretty well. Well, I say he did pretty well in round 1. He went 0-1. Both of them did, actually. So Skabb was playing as well. And this is going to be both of their chances at a fresh start in round 2.
That's right. It is a fresh start. Anytime you do some big social media faux pas, or maybe it goes bankrupt or whatever, pop up that makes the same product using the same material, location, but under a different name, and that's essentially what 9thTeam did. They're just like, well, so these other two teams didn't work out, but what about this new team? And I'm like, well, yeah, but this is just the old players under a new logo. So perhaps you can expect similar things from them. ESC community figures kind of band together to take on the terror, the might of Clan Revolution. So I don't know exactly who to favor here. I think I've seen more games of Just playing than I have of Skabb, but I know you have gotten a chance to see these two players face off, or at least play firsthand, Kicks.
Yeah, I've not seen these two play specifically, but I have played, or I've seen both of them play separately. The one problem I do have is the fact it was quite a while ago, so memory's a little bit spotty. But both of them are going to be looking to make a pretty good, big impact even in this first game. Obviously, this is the first game best of 5, a lot to play for, and they are going to be playing on, as you did mention before, it's going to be Troy. Now, Troy is a 4-player map. If you may not know, we'll sort of discuss more of the intricate details as we get into the game. But basically a very fun map, can lead to some very interesting games. We saw an incredible game on Wednesday between DM and Bull on this map. It was between PRL and someone whose name I can't quite remember. I'll have to remember that for next time, but it was a great game. One of the weirdest games I think I've ever seen. And hopefully we'll see another good game here today.
I agree, Kicks. I concur. I do indeed hope the games are great.
Okay, and let's move on over to the game. Speaking of which, we can get started. Okay, and starting us off, I need to remember, we need to do the quick micro. The network micro to go to extra high latency. But there we go. Okay, so starting us off in the top right hand position at 2 o'clock, we do have the Yellow Zerg fighting for ReV. It's gonna be Skabb.
And for the 9thTeam, in the bottom left hand corner in the teal as Protoss, this is Bounce Clans, Just. In case you're wondering what the BUN stands for, no, it is not a delicious bread roll. It is Bounce, which is a positive network of like-minded individuals, of course, founded by TY2, the legend. And of course, Just is under his evil mind control or joined voluntarily, one of the two. But it's cool to see Just coming out here as a representative of 9thTeam. And yeah, this is on Troy. Troy is classified, I believe, as a reverse semi-island map. So semi-island means that, yeah, wow, much like the mouthful of ramen I just had, it is quite the hot and spicy map, not just because it's the desert tile set, but also because things can really, really heat up if you have shenanigans go on with these assimilators, you take them down, it's almost impossible to pass through them, and it makes the map kind of island-ish.
Yeah, so just to sort of clarify what Rapid was saying there, you see the two assimilators on the screen. They are depleted. They are stacked gases. There is only one assimilator on each, though. Once you kill those, if you kill one, only small units can get through the gap. So Marines, Zerglings, Zealots, and Ghosts, and Medics and Firebats, I guess, if you're counting those as well. And if you kill both, the only unit that can physically get through the gap is actually a Ghost. And we won't be able to see those here because there's no Terran, so...
Yeah, this isn't, I think Holy World had a neutral command center in the middle, which you could either infest and make infested Terrans, or you might see a little bit of Terran shenanigans from that, but no. There's nothing like that. We are just going to see Protoss and Zerg, and I think the only matches that I've seen on this map specifically have been maps that include Protoss players. So I'm glad at least that is consistent. But what are the opening builds at least see going on here? For our Zerg player, it's nothing too crazy, just taking the natural at a decent time. He has the Zerglings out, and actually take out the probe very surprisingly. So this is how you know Bisu isn't playing.
Yeah, Skabb doesn't manage to keep his probe alive just as much, so he'll have to send another one just to be a little bit safer. We do, on the side of Just, have him going for... sorry, it was actually Just probe, wasn't it? I'm too used to Just. If you don't know, he did actually play Zerg before. He switched to Protoss semi-recently, so... but we saw the Forge Fast expand into the Nexus, of course, and he's playing pretty standard right now.
Yeah, this is what I like to call pulling a TY2, where you realize that your race is completely insufficient and you change to Zerg. So this is kind of always odd to me because anytime I see a player race swap, they're inevitably friends with players who play the race that they swap to and don't understand why they're doing it because they too want to change races. It's always a little bit strange, but everybody has a different play style, and sometimes you have to make that hard realization to say, well, you know, it just fit a different race with my play style maybe a little bit better. So I'm always happy to see players race swap and then do very well. There's several great examples of this in like StarCraft 2, where players race swap and then proceed to just totally dominate with that race. So
I mean...
I don't know of many good examples of that in StarCraft 1. Do you, Kick?
I can think of the ultimate example. The one and only the Emperor used to play Protoss, switched to Terran, and then won everything. So he is the king of race swapping. Like, how can you beat that? You switch race, you become known as the Emperor, you're the most popular player in the entirety of a country. You basically, like, you create a pro scene around yourself, and then you become one of the greatest coaches as well. So...
I mean, can you really call that like race swapping when you're like, this is a new game, I'll try playing a lot of races? He did play Protoss very early on, so I'm glad you brought that up. But I think predominantly he's always known as just being first and foremost a Terran player.
Yeah, the Terran Master, the king of them all.
The first player to learn how to cheese exploitatively before people knew how to counter it. Either way, yeah, you're right, a legendary player. So Justice maybe in a similar category, although maybe in a slightly different one than players like Boxer. We'll just, you know, say he's in a league of his own. That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, now we see Skabb going up to 4 hatcheries already. He's adding on his lair. We should see that 5th hatchery coming up at the 3rd. Yes, we do. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Skabb does opt to kill the assimilators to make this an island base, but with the fact he's building the extra hatchery there, that could actually hurt him to do that. So he's going to be looking to put on a little bit of aggression. He hasn't got speed for his lings yet, so we're not going to see anything too crazy. And the wall from Just isn't perfect. It's kind of hard to wall on this map, but that should be at least enough to hold on against just these lings. Although this is a lot of Zerglings.
Yeah, it should be noted that this base is just way wide open, especially because you have to build your assimilator towards the front. Sometimes that can fit as part of your wall, but it can also be kind of vulnerable if you're like being sieged by dragoons or something like that, maybe siege tanks on the low ground. can make it a little bit rough. So yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, Kix, because these Zerglings have a great chance to run by if they want to. But I think the better decision here by Skabb is just to use them for sort of soft contain map control and try to get this third base really up and running with the macro hatches.
Yeah, that certainly seems to be what he's doing. He's adding on a lot of drones at his natural, actually. That's 6 drones coming in. And he's going to be adding drones at his third too, so his economy is going to be starting to really boom as he moves into his lair tech, which is going to be a
It's going to be 5, like either 5 hatch Muta, I'm guessing, is what's about to come out. I think recently I've been seeing a lot of 6 hatch, either 6 hatch Hydra. I traditionally associate Mutas with either 2, 3, or 5 hatcheries, but sometimes you see like a different number, and I'm not a good enough player to know exactly why that is, but this at least looks a little bit more familiar to what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, the other thing is, due to the way the map works, Mutas are actually just really good based on the fact you can snipe the assimilators with them quite easily, and it's going to be very difficult for the Protoss if they haven't gone for a Stargate, which we have actually seen just completely skip. These Mutas could do a lot of damage.
And that's really weird, because it's very rare, especially after Bisu just really said, look, you can actually just win games this way. It's always strange to me to see Stargateless play. And of course, the reason is that we are about to see these speed lots head right across the map, and +1 is just about to finish. This is actually kind of an anti-timing, because the Zealots are hitting right before +1 is done. So ideally, you're going to ram a ton of +1 speed lots straight in to the Zerg Scoff Squishy Bits and try to do massive. Unfortunately, I think Just kind of missed his read here and thought that the Zerg player was taking the 12 o'clock base instead of the 3 o'clock. So he sent all of his Zealots up there. So I think he's about to miss this big timing he was going for.
Yeah, he is, and there's not really any opportunity for him to attack the natural now. There's a lot of sunken colonies there. He made the wrong choice on going to the third, so he can't really block that in either. And I mean, Zerg drops are a little bit easier to do on this map than Protoss drops, just from the fact you can make all of your Overlords droppable, so maybe not the best idea to lock that in.
Now, Kix, one thing I would love to get your opinion on is that at the front of Just's base, there is what we like to colloquially call a Dark Archon.
Now that is one of my favorite units in the game. I do wish they were used a hell of a lot more. Let's actually... I have a feeling it's just going to be for Maelstrom, just in case he does come across Mutalist. That's going to be a very strong spell, especially due to the lack of Corsairs, but he's going to have to be careful.
So what we were talking about earlier is that it is kind of strange in PvZ to see Protoss players not go Corsair. Because it just can be so strong. You can kill every Overlord, and then your opponent won't be able to make units. This is another way to kind of deal with Mutas. You cast a Maelstrom on them, it paralyzes them, and then you either use Storm or Archon hits from the ground and deal terrible, terrible damage. So that's one way to do it. You do not see it used as often by any means, but this is maybe an homage to how much Kix just really loves seeing Dark Archons.
I did say, I think one of the things I said on Wednesday, I know this game was played before then, but I basically said that if you ever make a Dark Archon and do something cool with it, it'll go in one of my highlight videos. So, you never know. We may see this. Like, this could be the start of, like, the new era of Dark Archons.
Well, here come the Mutas. So this is a big ball of about 11 Mutalisks, of course, with one Overlord to make sure that they can be micro.
Oh, the Maelstrom!
Oh, no way! We're going to see the Archon move right underneath. This is massive damage to the Mutalisk.
It is.
Get one more hit off and just
and the Storm as well.
Down.
That was only 4 Mutalisks though. He maybe maybe went a little bit too early with that Maelstrom. His units weren't in position to deal with it, and the Mutas did take a lot of damage, and they're going to be forced to go home for now. And that will give Just the ability to take this third base now.
Any combination of anything that kills 6 Mutalisks is always a good thing, because of course anytime you limit the Muta numbers, it forces the Zerg player to either remake them or switch tech, and it looks like that's what the latter is what Skabb is doing. He's saying, okay, well, I lost a bunch of Mutas, I still have enough to be annoying, but he is going to be switching into mass Hydra tech, and he's going to get Carapace upgrade for Flyers though, so we might see a bunch more Mutas in the future.
We could, and +1 armor is very important against Corsairs. I mean, he doesn't really know exactly what his Protoss opponent's doing, so
Yeah.
he can't be too greedy. Now, one thing that I did just catch on camera, which was kind of funny, is the Scanted was actually blocking the units in at the 3 o'clock base, so he did
Yeah, I
kill
saw
that. But yeah, looks like, ooh, a nice storm on top of the Mutalist. The Archon getting a good amount of hits as well, and that's 6 kills on that Archon so far, 7 now as well.
Oh yeah, this Archon is really MVP, and it's really impressive to me to see just kind of forego the traditional way that you'd expect to see ZV or PVZ played, and just try to use 2 Archons of different colors to deal with a large Muta threat. And he's done it very successfully. So now only 2 very low health Mutas survive, and this is going to be a very strong push for just across the map.
It is, but there could be another Maelstrom. Oh, and there it is! But there's nothing that shoots up, but it doesn't matter. He's got Storm, those poor Zealots. Taking a hit for the color, but they're going to survive. +2 attack on the Protoss units now. We only actually have +1 attack for the Zerg at the moment, but Just has been able, Skabb has been able to take this 4th base over in the top left natural, and if he can secure this, he is going to give himself a very nice position in this game.
Yeah, this Dark Archon really paying for itself. It's killed, or at least helped kill, 11 Mutas. Now, there's a remax of Mutas. Well, not a max. It's 6 more out on the map, and I believe there are going to be more made in just a little bit. But a bunch of Mutas now coming out, and this Muta's sole job is to try to snipe High Templars without getting Maelstrommed.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit harder. Like, one of the things with a Muta switch like this is it's relatively easy to get the Templar, but with the threat of Maelstrom, it's going to be a lot harder to just dive in there like that. He's going to have to be a lot more thoughtful about the angles he comes in from.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you know, Mutas can be sort of the, hey, I'm in your face, deal with me kind of thing. But the real purpose is to help get this 4th base up. And it has been predominantly undealt with. Let me check the vision real fast for Just. And he does not know about it. Oh, yeah, so he's seen the creep, but he has not been up there to deal with it.
I think the creep is just a weird observing bug. When you turn off the vision, it doesn't remove creep from the map, so that's possibly the problem.
That could possibly be the problem. It would be helpful to know if he knows about it, because he's not going for it, and that would be a far easier base to take instead of trying to push into the natural that has, what, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, or potentially even 5 Sunkens at it.
And there's a lot of Lurkers morphing in here. This is, I think, at least 12 Lurkers. Yes, it is. And that's going to be very difficult. He doesn't have an Observer up with his army. And it's mainly Zealots. There's not really that much range, but a Maelstrom on the Lurkers!
But they can still move, which is odd.
They were bugging out, I think, but here we go.
Yeah, I think, yeah, just incredible, terrible storm, or terribly damaging storms, put it that way. There's still 4 Lurkers left over, though, so that is just a high number, or 7 Lurkers, actually. Wow, I didn't even see those 3 that were burrowed, so that is a very good hold by Skabb, who was in a little bit of a danger zone there with that Maelstrom coming out, but managed just to hold with a ton of Lurkers.
Yeah, no, the one thing is the Muta's coming back in. They know the Dark Archon used all its energy, and they're going to go straight for these Templar if they can.
Yeah, as a spoiler, Dragoons are not a counter to Mutalisks. Archons are, so unfortunately for the Archons,
a nice storm.
They're big boys. Whoa, an even better storm. And looks like all these Mutas will actually get taken down, but those are storms that are spent not killing Hydras or Lurkers, which is what every Zerg player wants.
And it looks like we finally do have an Observer up here with the army, so he is going to be able to push through these Lurkers.
Oh, he's bringing the Overlords forward. He's going to try to snipe these Observers here really quickly. I think he might actually try to get a couple of them. Yeah, so 1 Observer's going to go down. Can he get the 2nd Observer? Yeah, I think he's about to get 2 Observers. Oh, he's not actually targeting it. Yes, he does. He actually kills every Observer, but every Lurker goes down as well.
Yeah, there's not actually that much need for the Observers anymore when all of the units are down, but we have a big army coming in from behind. There's going to be a lot of reinforcements coming out these hatcheries, and the way these eggs are positioned are going to make it very hard for the Zealots, to, especially the Archons, to really connect with these Sunkens.
Yeah, and these are +2 Hydras, by the way, so they're going to deal a ton of damage. It's 2-2, though, for the Protoss unit, so he's been double forging it up, and it's really paying off, unfortunately. Anytime you try to attack into 3 Zerg hatcheries, you're just going to face a ton of units being rebuilt right in your face. The Sunkens might get taken out here, but I think reinforcements will come in just in time to defend here. And all the while, this fourth base is up and running. I think it has maybe 8 or 10 drones at it. So it is really doing a lot here for the Zerg economy, even though the drones at that natural did get killed.
Oh no, the poor Dark Archon is trying to run away, just Maelstrom. Maelstrom the units to survive. He has been the MVP. I think he's casted 4 Maelstroms so far this game, which is insane. That's like one value Dark Archon right there. I really want to see him mind control a drone. Oh no, he's transferring drones directly into the units of Just. And Just doesn't react.
Yeah, he doesn't. Not only does he not react, but I don't believe he has mind control researched yet. So I don't think it can actually do it.
Yeah, it also needs 150 energy, I think. It's like, it's crazy how costly
it's kind of like
is.
nukes, like it's there in case you need it, but it's not really like the purpose. I mean, obviously in like island maps, mind controlling shuttles is super sick. Mind controlling archons that are, you know, covering lurker eggs is also, or not archons, but arbiters. But
oh, that was a sick Maelstrom. Yeah, that was really well done.
The Maelstrom, if you will. Sick combo there, and it takes out all but one lurker. That one lurker is actually going to get a ton of damage done, but in the end it is only one lurker, and it doesn't look like the macro is kicked back in for Skabb.
It hasn't, and while this is going on, Just has taken his own 4th base, and he's got so many gateways right now. There's just so many zealots flooding on over to this natural.
There's no observer here, so all it takes is one lurker. Well, more than one lurker. Okay, I say that because there is one lurker there, but ultimately the macro is just insane from Just, and he will take out Skabb in a 17, almost 18-minute slugfest. I really love his Dark Archon usage. That is a very defining kind of characteristic of this game, and I'm so happy to see such an underused unit be so effective in his strategy.
Yeah, that is really cool to see. It's very rare we get to see Dark Archons. Like, if you ever watch me play ladder, I do try and build ghosts, but I'm not very good, so it doesn't really count. But the players in the STPL, I would say, are probably about 10 times better than I am, so seeing them get better usage out of a unit like the Dark Archon makes me very happy.
Yeah, really cool playstyle there from Just, and man, this is the fantastic thing that I like about the STPL. It's like, are these players the level of Flash or Jadong? Well, I mean, I guess when you watch White play and they have like Mind or Best out there, maybe. But for the most part, you do get a chance to see a lot of strategies that may not be like 100% viable at the tippity top level, just really be powerful because they fit well with the player's play style and everybody is kind of around the same skill level. So really cool to see Just come